Hello everyone! I'm Jessica from Forever Growing, and this is day 3 of our crochet slipper tutorial. So last time and the time before, what we did is we measured our foot and we created the toe, and then we created this little kind of hat for our toes. And then we started making the sole, and we got as far as starting to put some sides on it. So I'm going to repeat that over here with this one. So just to make sure if you can see me or hear me, go ahead and drop a comment. Tell me where you're from. I'd love to hear from you. I love questions. Other than that, I'll just go ahead and get started. Alright. So here I'm still using a 6mm or size J hook, and I'm using some thick and thin black yarn, charcoal black, and then some thinner white yarn. So I'm going to go to my slipper right where I had started with the sole, and I'm going to start it right in the space in between the stitches. Now, since we're using double crochet, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in each hole along the side. These kind of slippers are really good for lumpy, bumpy yarn that has problems, because they're so thick and you get the double strand. It really kind of evens out as you're working it, which I like. So I hope that everybody has been having a wonderful Saturday so far. We got up this morning and Mom came in from her house, and she was telling me that my dog got his tail tangled in her wind chimes at 1 o'clock in the morning, and kind of like woke her up and freaked her out for a minute. But yeah, so we got to figure out how to make it where he can't come visit in the middle of the night. Alright, so I've just been doing 2 double crochet in each kind of hole along the side here. So once I get to the corner, I'm going to put 2 in that corner stitch just to turn the corner, and then I will adjust and go with 1 stitch after that. So when I'm going in the same direction as the stitches I've done previously, I do singles, and when I'm going kind of cross grain on the stitches I've already done, I will do 2. So here's the corner, so it's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and we've turned the corner. There we go. I am definitely very glad that it is Saturday. I actually got to sleep in a little, which is kind of rare for me. So that was enjoyable. Mom was digging through her stuff and found a light bright. So I'm going to try to figure out how to incorporate that into our living room, like as a night light or something like that somewhere. That should be fun. I tried putting my old lava lamp out there, but we accidentally knocked it over. So we'll have to come up with something a little stouter for out there. Alright, so I've turned the other corner. I'm heading back towards the toe portion. Another thing I like about these slippers is they're quick. You can use up kind of weird yarn that you're not really sure what to do with, or bits and ends. You can use yarn of different sizes. It's really a mishmash for whatever you have on hand. Well, hello. Don't worry about showing up late, so I'll fill you in. I have been making some slippers for Tim using some bits and ends of yarn, and so we started with the toe here and build up this kind of little pocket for your toes, and now we are working on putting the sides around the heel. All right, there we go. So now I am right up to where I made the little toe hat part. So what I kind of try to do is I try to line it up, and whatever stitch it kind of matches with, I'll go ahead and just loop through. Now I don't get to do that on the other side because that's where we started, but you can come in and when you're like tucking tails and doing some finish work and hide that. Oh, I am not going to be able to cut that one by hand, and I forgot to grab something to cut with. Sorry to walk off camera on you guys. Hello, Kim from Georgia. Thank you for joining us. See, I'm glad I'm not the only one that slept in on Saturday. Like, that makes me happy. I think my grand to-do list for today involves like cleaning out the barn, matching socks. Anybody got interesting plans, going to a fair or anything like that? We're getting closer to some now, timing wise. Alright, so now I've got to switch colors. So I'm going to go back, and this time I'm going to put together the green mystery, I think it might be alpaca. Ooh, shearing. Shearing is great. We do ours with scissors because I'm a wuss and the big clippers scare me. I'm, you know, maybe it scares the goats, but it scares me. So, Yeah. Good morning, Lynchen. So one of the things that I really like about this service thing here is that you can like click on someone's name and it'll show their comment, which sometimes when you're watching like full screen or something, it's really kind of difficult to see what people are saying as you're watching. Okay, so we have one round, and one thing I will say is that it looks like they're splaying out just a little bit. I kind of want those to stand up just a little bit better. So when I do the corners this time, I might do some decreases back here, just to kind of pinch it a little bit. But other than that, I'm probably going to do about 2 more inches or so. So we wanted this to end up being about 4 inches high. And I've got 1 inch already. So if I bring it up to a total of 3 inches, that will put this side here and this side here, which is almost closed. So that I think is going to be a good judge of how tall. And so for this part, we're just going to repeat what we've done. Now we're switching yarn, so the size is going to change. So you may have to adjust like the number of rows at this point, or if your stitches are a little looser or tighter, you can increase or decrease to kind of keep it going up and not flaring out as much. So on this slipper, on this side I tied it off at the end so it's connected to the top, but on this side I did not. So I'm going to try to line up both pieces to where they match up the best, and then to start my next row I'm going to do a slip stitch through both of those and then chain 2 so that I now start my next round of double crochets. Alright, and since I went through and I did 1 stitch the whole way around, I should be able to do 1 stitch the whole way around in the space in between the double crochets. So like I said, this is all double crochet. If you want smaller holes or finer stitches, you can do this in single crochet. But I am a very impatient person when it comes to projects like this, and so I like projects with big stitches and big yarn and lots of holes. Ooh, almost knocked my coffee over. But I finally started this morning on washing the next to the last goat fleece that I have to wash, which means that when I go and do shows and stuff, I will actually have some washed fiber to take with me, which is kind of exciting. Alright, so here we're getting close to that corner again. So I'm going to kind of look and see what it's doing, and by switching to a slightly smaller pair of yarn. Let's see if I can get that under camera. There we go. What I've done is it's starting to shape a little better. Instead of being kind of wide and floppy there, it's actually starting to stand up. But I still think the heel is a little wide, so I am going to find my corner and find the space in between those two stitches in the corner, and then this is the space in between the other two stitches. Now you can use a stitch marker if you want to, but I will take these next two stitches and start a double crochet, but don't finish it. Leave 2 loops on your hook, loop around your hook again, pull it through, and then I have 3 on my hook and I pull that through, so I've just dropped that down 1 stitch. Ooh, Lenshin got some crochet hooks. I try to get like an assortment. So this is one you can find pretty easy. It comes in a little case. But the problem I have with the little case is I use kind of the same sizes all the time for different projects because that's what I'm comfortable with. So when I lose, like, you know, E and F, it's like, dang. But if you get one with the case, you'll know what you're missing, and then you can just order the specific ones that you like. And I'm weird. I like the metal crochet hooks because the grooves in the hook part are deeper, I think, and you can like get a better grip on the yarn. But I also like the ergonomic ones with the big handles too. Lace is also a neat thing to explore when you're doing crochet stuff. I love making lace. It's not quite tatting. Tatting is the thing with the little shuttle, where you're like, you know, like it has like this little pin head hook thing. But if you look at some of the patterns, there's like an Irish lace and a couple other ones, and they're really pretty for making like edging for like little baby dresses, stuff like that. And some of that stuff just turns out amazing. Alright, see now when I let go of it, it's no longer flopping out to the side, it's actually standing up quite nicely. There we go. Alright, so here we are, almost back to the end again. Looks like I've got 2 stitches to go. So once again, when I get to that last stitch, I'm going to come in here and try to line it up as best as I can and just slip stitch it to the edge. Alright, and then, you know, reach in there and shape it, see what you get. Now at this point it's pretty well flat. You you know, you kind of shape it as you go. Make sure you got some room for your toes. And this is a nice spot to kind of stop and say, hey, does this fit your foot? You know, see if that works for them. Alright, so there's that one. And I do like doing these evenly. I like going from one foot to the other foot. It helps me remember the step that I just did and otherwise keep track of what I'm doing. Alright, oops. Next round. And once again, I'm going to kind of try to line it up where it fits best from one piece to the other because they're not really connected there, and then slip stitch through to connect them, chain 2 to start my row, and then I'll put one stitch in each spot the whole way around. And I gotta remember to decrease one time on each corner. Yesterday was Wesley's birthday, and so, you know, he likes Halloween themed cakes. So every year we do a Halloween theme. And this year Mom found those little plastic things that you like poke into a pumpkin instead of carving it. And we used those on top of the cake along with some red icing and stuff. It looked pretty neat. But he was all happy because he got a new set of magic cards, so he gets to play the game. He played once with his brothers, and then we're probably going to end up playing with him later this evening. So I have a feeling that as soon as I am done with this tutorial, Wesley's going to come out and start setting up all of his cards on the table. Alright, so here is our corner. Here's our corner stitch and the space in between. So I will start a double crochet, but only pull it through once. So I have 2 loops on my hook. Start a double crochet, only pull it through once, and then pull all 3 together to just kind of tighten that one little stitch. Alright. And then next one. Come back here. Okay, this green and this orange look really cool. So the orange one is from the Rusted Flamingo, and she does most of her spinning on the Spin-e-Kube, and it's just gorgeous. It has it's got my favorite color of orange, and it's got little spots of red and some yellows, and it's just beautiful. And the green is mystery yarn from like a freebie from forever ago. So, alright, so now I've done the decrease stitch on this heel, kind of shaping a little bit as we go, but it is starting to stand up and have some structure to it. Having 2 strands and thick yarn really adds structure to something like slippers. So like if you're making a sweater or a hat, you kind of want it to have stretch and a little bit of shape, but you don't really want your hat to like look like a hat when it's not on your head. But slippers, you definitely want them to be a little sturdier. There we go. It was pretty neat too at the spin-along on Friday, because we actually had quite a few people, which is always nice. I love seeing new faces too. Recording in progress, just so you know. Okay, that's Tim coming in the back door. My timing is perfect, so I think I started these right as the boys decided that it's like cereal time, and so they'll be like trying to figure out where they can stand while I'm doing this, so that they're not on camera, but that they can like go grab a bowl of cereal. There we go. Alright, so we've made it to the other side. Once again, I'm going to line it up to where it kind of matches, and then slip stitch through. Alright, so looking pretty good, like I said, we still want to get it up to maybe 3 inches or so, and this is about in 1.5 inches, so I do get a kind of size differential. Hello, Hessa, thank you for joining us. And that's the other thing I absolutely think is amazing about Facebook and platforms like this, is that you can bring people together from all over the world, all over the country, and just absolutely share what you're into. Alright, so all I'm doing for this is just gonna do some singles, or sorry, some double crochets in each space in between. There we go. Oops. Oh, yeah. Lenshin was telling us that she was sad that she missed the spin-along yesterday. I've been thinking about doing one in addition to the one we already do, but I haven't figured out when I can kind of do that kind of like time commitment stuff. Because there's always stuff to do. It never ends. There we go. Now we're rounding the corner on that heel. I'm just keeping with the single stitches. I'm not decreasing or increasing at this point because I don't think we're going to need to. It's kind of standing up well on its own, looking more like a dish than a platter. There we go, second round. And one of the reasons that I do this with leftover bits and ends is it's fairly easy to keep the stitches like in even rows, so like your colors kind of line up, or you know, your stripes match, things like that. So you can work on one and work on the other, make them even and matching. That's one thing that surprised me when my kids hit like middle school, high school, was it suddenly became cool to have mismatched socks. And so you'd go in the store and they'd literally be selling you a pack of mismatched socks. And I was like, no, we have these at the house. Makes finding a pair in the morning very easy, you know. But it's very confusing when you do laundry. Alright. So we are almost back at the end where we started on the other side. So now I've got probably 2 rows over here that aren't the whole way lined up. So I'm gonna slip stitch up top here, and then see that little gap right there? I kind of want that gap to go away. So I'm going to just kind of spin my piece around so I can get to it, and I'm going to come in and just put the 2 together by stabbing my hook in there, give it a chain stitch to kind of get it up to the previous level, and poof, there you go. That is now pretty solid and connected and not a big hole right there. Alright, so now we've got 2 layers there, and that's starting to look pretty good. Let's see what I got left on yarn. I think I'm getting pretty low on this color, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other slipper so I can make that row match. There we go. And we'll come over here. We might be down to just doing the cuffs by the time I get the sides done. That'll be cool. There we go. So I've slip stitched that on. I've chained 2 to start with my double crochet, and now I'm just going to go through and put a double crochet in each space in between the double crochets. I had to bring in my grapefruit trees last night because it started dropping below 45 degrees at night, and these guys have been sitting outside all summer, and I brought them in, and I pruned them a little bit because they had actually grown like tremendously over the summer. And so now I've got one that's in a 5-gallon bucket as a planter, and it's seriously starting to outgrow this thing. So I'm trying to debate if I want to do like one of those carts on wheels that you can like roll your plant around. I've seen people do them for like banana trees. This is a grapefruit tree. We went to Florida and bought some oranges and grapefruit, and so I wanted to see if I could grow them, and they did. Like, they all sprouted the seeds, and so now most of the plants that I have are about 1 or 2 years old. So I've got about 8 or 9 of them that are about a foot tall, and then I've got one, and he's working on being about 3 foot tall. But I don't think they'll survive the winter here unless they're indoors. Eventually I'm going to put them in like a greenhouse type scenario, but I want them to get pretty big before I do that so that I can figure out how to not really bonsai them, but like top them so that they stay little. And then the other thing I thought about doing was when they get bigger and stronger, planting them out in the yard and seeing if I couldn't protect them with like that pipe wrap stuff you put on your pipes to keep those from freezing. I don't know. Things you think about while you crochet, right? What do I do with my plants? See, now Devin snuck in here to make breakfast, and he is cooking sausage and eggs, and it just absolutely smells amazing.
Do you want some?
Can you throw 2 on for me?
Yes, I can.
Yay, thank you.
I was meaning to ask you earlier, but I saw you were in the middle of a video, so I didn't say anything.
Oh, that's okay. I appreciate it. It's hard to, like, keep a conversation going when it's one-sided on camera.
Makes sense. I know how you feel.
There we go. So same thing with this side. I've just kind of picked a spot here where I can start hiding some ends and filling in holes in between those. There we go. Alright, so we got 2 rows on the slippers, and we'll start with the 3rd. We want them to be about 3 inches tall, and we're right at 2. So we will probably need 2 more rows, but I don't think we have quite enough. I think we've got less than a row left. So now I get to play with my stash over here and see what I can come up with to put together. So I have tan and tan, but they're both really thin. I have a black and white as well. Okay, we'll do that. Let's try a 3-strand and see if that keeps up the thickness that we need. So, 2 strands might do it. I'll take the black and white mix out of there. Alright. There we go. Starting on that, I'll come over to this side, and we had not joined it, so I will line it up, make a slip stitch, and then chain 2 to get it started, and once again we'll double crochet the whole way around, see how it does. Alright, now I can already tell that this is going to be a little bit thinner than the others. So if it is too thin, I may switch to a half double crochet. No, I think where it's at, like kind of on the top part of the foot, I think that'll be okay. Oh yeah, Luncheon can hear your sausages cooking over there.
Oh.
It's a good microphone.
Possible, but I guess that it's not working.
No.
And talking about sausage, 2 sausage, how many eggs do you want?
2, please.
2? All right.
Oops. Yep, you're on camera, Mom.
Oh, amazing. I'm looking for paper pins, push pins.
I don't have any. We were looking the other night. They all disappeared. Mom's looking for push pins.
Don't have any?
I don't think so. I'm not sure where they went. I had a whole drawer thingy full and they just went poof.
Yeah.
There we go. Homegrown eggs. Yes, we have. Okay, so we have 8 chickens, and they lay a multiple different colors of eggs. So I have a very old Araucana chicken who lays blue eggs. Every once in a while, she lays a blue egg. Got a couple of brown egg layers, you know, normal looking chickens like barred rocks and stuff like that. But I found a bunch of chickens at Tractor Supply, I forget what they were called, that are supposed to lay green eggs. And they do. It is so cool. So you like literally can eat green eggs and ham. They do not look like.
I can show them real quick.
You want to show them real quick? Yeah.
Right there?
Bring it this way. There we go.
All right.
So yeah, they lay green eggs. Now they look like normal eggs when you crack them open. I mean, they just look like eggs. But yeah, green eggs. I couldn't resist.
They're very light shaded green, but they're green.
Yeah. Yeah, the shade changes a little bit depending too on what they eat and whatnot. But yeah, we get way too many eggs just from 8 chickens. Like more than 6 people can eat.
I'm eating eggs for lunch because I've already had breakfast.
Right? It's like, time to make angel food. Time to make pound cake. I'm kind of tired of eggs. So we usually try to find like a neighbor or a person that every once in a while can just take a couple dozen. But yeah, mom, yes, olive eggers. Starlight olive eggers. I couldn't remember the second part. I knew they were Starlight something, and so it's like Starlight, I guess, is the name of the farm that made them.
This set of eggs is a little bit thicker than normal.
Huh.
It's a good thing, though.
Like the shell?
No. Like, when I poured it, it was a little bit thicker.
Oh.
It might have just been that I mixed it better this time, though.
Yeah, it could be. All right. So, if you'll notice, like, all these bits and ends and tails and stuff that I'm working with, as I go, I kind of try to just stick them in the stitching. Oop, that one is not in the right place. And that's the nice thing too about not having a pattern, is if it doesn't look right, you're not messing up your pattern. You just roll with it. Alright. So, kind of how the structure of this thing works. As you are, and you can see it now that there's some contrast right here. as you are building this up on the sides, you're also giving it shape by bringing these kind of together to meet in the middle, around your little toe hat. And what that's going to do is it should give you just enough room to kind of like slide your foot in, and they'll still stay on. Alright, so now quick assessment. I think I have enough to do another round going back this way on these slippers, and then enough to finish the other side. So 1, 2, turn it around and go back the other way. And once again, I'm going for the holes in between each stitch. Oops.
Your two sausage are on the frying pan now.
Thank you. Are you going to monitor them, or do I need to?
Oh no, I planned on fully making your meal for you.
Okay.
I was just telling you that I just put them on, so
Awesome.
expect it in the next couple of minutes or so.
Woohoo! Well, I am like almost done here, so that kind of timing works out really good.
My timing is almost always perfect. Or
Right?
terrible. There's no middle ground for me.
There we go. And again, this is an area where if you feel that they're not quite the right size, you can still, you know, the heels are good places to do this. Bring it in or expand it a little bit to make it fit what you think is fit. Alright, so I'm going to bring this in just a little bit because Tim has a little bit of a narrow heel. Alright, so I've done 2 start a crochet and don't finish it, and then I'm pulling it through. And then find the other corner, which is over here. Go. Start a crochet and don't finish it. Do that twice and then pull it all the way through. So now I've brought that in just a little bit more. It's starting to get kind of boxy looking on the side. And you can continue this up like as high as you want. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, you can continue that up. You can make crochet like booties, you know, all the way up to your calves, or, you know, whatever you choose. I've seen some people do some neat things like by continuing to crochet around and then folding it over. There we go. Alright, now when I get down here, to where I started on the original row, once again, I kind of have that, I've got two layers that aren't connected. So I'm going to bring it to where it kind of sort of lines up, slip stitch it, and then I want to come back into one of the previous row's stitches and kind of just slide that through until it lines up. Alright, so now I've almost closed that gap there, and I'm not sure if we've made our height yet or not, so let's look. That's right at 3 inches. So this is where you really want to look at your foot measurements again. So here I've got that it was about 4.5 inches from the toe to the top of the foot. So there's 4.5 inches. So we're pretty close in that zone. And then I had that it was about 11.5 inches kind of around. And we've definitely got that. That's about 13. So if we measured it on the inside, it should be about 11. And then the ankle kind of area is supposed to be 11.5 inches. So if I make a circle with my tape measure at 11.5 inches and I put it in there, you can probably see that we need to kind of bring it in and make it a little bit smaller. And so that is what I will focus on for our next class or tutorial or whatever we want to call this, is we're going to make kind of a cuff to go around here and kind of cinch that together at the very end. But I think before we do that, we'll do one more row so that we completely meet here in the middle at the top of the foot part. So right in here is where we want to connect. So we'll keep going up until it connects, and then we will go around in a circle to give it a little bit of a cuff. And that's really all that there is to making these slippers. So we'll finish that one and we'll start putting cuffs on them. Alright, I got like just a couple more minutes. Does anybody have any questions before I go take Devin up on his offer for breakfast? Alright. You guys enjoy your Saturday, and I will see you next week, same time.
Almost time for brunch.
Bye.